Watch out! It's a good game! More specifically, this is Alien Storm. It was released in the arcades in 1990, but we will be going over the Sega Genesis port that was released in 1991. Now, I've never played the arcade version until recently. Nonetheless, I'm pretty impressed with how faithful the Sega Genesis port is. It obviously couldn't keep everything intact, but this is a solid home port, and I can see why plenty will consider this a classic. I wouldn't call it one of the best beat 'em ups ever, but it's still pretty good. Of course, there was one personal problem I had with this game. I knew— No! I panicked. Oh, why did that happen? No! 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 Look, I've played my fair share of difficult beat 'em ups, but Alien Storm took me quite a while to get the hang of it. I think this is a case where you really need to understand the rules of the game to get far. I don't mean the obvious stuff like memorizing the enemy spawns or knowing how to crowd control. I'm talking about the basic aspects such as how energy works, not getting any health back in between stages, and realizing how incredibly useful running attacks are. Now before I get into that stuff, let's go over the controls. You can change the layout and the options, but it will affect both players. A will use your special attack, B will perform a basic attack, and C will roll. By double tapping and holding left or right, you can run in said direction. Alien Storm is a beat 'em up at heart, but it does mix things up by having rail shooting sections and a few auto run sections. Before I go into them, let's talk about the life and energy. Your life is shown as a blue bar. Unfortunately, it's not completely accurate since some attacks won't deal quite enough damage to make the bar go down. This is especially noticeable on easy mode since the difficulty affects how much maximum life you have. It will also affect how much life the enemies have. Your energy is the orange bar. Energy is used up when performing basic attacks, using your special attack, and from shooting in the other sections. If you run out of energy, you're more or less a sitting duck. It's still somewhat manageable in the beat 'em up sections, but you'll fire at a very slow rate in the other sections. You can gain more energy by defeating small alien flies, and from destroying the terrain in the rail shooting sections. If you're lucky, you might even find a life kit, which will restore a bit of health. I should also mention that life kits will give less health on the higher difficulties. In any case, energy management is very important, and most of that will fall on what you do in the beat 'em up sections, so let's start with that one first. As mentioned before, A will perform a special attack. This will hit all enemies on screen and deal a lot of damage. However, this takes up a great amount of energy. This should only be saved for screens where there are 4 or more enemies. It can also be used to prevent death, as using a special immediately upon reaching 0 life can save you. This is much easier to do as a robot since his animation uses his own sprite. The B button will perform a basic attack. One thing I like a lot about this game is that you can still hit aliens while they're knocked down, which will knock them down again. Basic attacks will barely take up energy when missing, but the energy consumption will add up as you land hits against more and more enemies. Therefore, you will want to master performing running attacks. This is done by pressing B while running. They deal a decent amount of damage and don't take up any energy. Since they leave the enemy in hit stun for quite a while, you can loop this over and over with proper timing. Even better, they can keep you in a 1v1 situation, as the other aliens will keep moving back and forth during your run attack loop. The C button performs a roll that is great for getting to the other side of the screen. If you press B during the roll, you'll perform a dive attack that will knock an enemy back. This will stop you on contact, or you can hold forward during the animation to dive attack through multiple enemies. This can be very useful for crowd control. Lastly, you can jump by pressing C while running. During this jump, you can do a jump attack by pressing B while mid-air. This deals a good amount of damage, but it's very difficult to land against the regular aliens. This is best used in some of the boss battles. And that's pretty much it for the beat 'em up sections. Obviously, it helps a ton to know how to deal with each alien and to know where to spawn from, but it won't matter as much if you don't do well in the other sections. In the rail shooting sections, all you can do is fire rapidly with the B button. This does take up energy, but there will be plenty of enemies and a lot of terrain to destroy, which can make more energy drop. To get the items, you'll have to shoot them before they disappear. But don't let the terrain distract you too hard. The enemies in this section can be very fast. In fact, the claw swiping enemies can lead to unavoidable damage if you aren't already aiming at one of them. The reticule does move fast, but it doesn't get any faster than this. Therefore, you need to either have good memorization, or keep the reticule near the bottom so that you can fire at the enemies that are harder to react to. And of course, shooting the humans will cost you some health. Thankfully, they will never appear near the bottom of the screen. Lastly, there are the running sections. You can use your special attack with A, fire bullets with B, and jump by pressing C. They're very simple and pretty easy to get through. There are times where the long jumps can lead to you taking damage, but other than that, there isn't much to say. Just shoot whatever appears and dodge accordingly. That felt like a lot I had to explain, which is weird since Alien Storm isn't that long to begin with. Nonetheless, I did manage to finish this game on hard mode without losing a life, and I do plan on explaining more throughout the long play. If you want a written guide that goes over more, they can always check the link in the description below. Alright, and this is my long play of Alien Storm for the Sega Genesis. Now, before we get into the main mode, obviously I am commentating over a run I already did. The first thing I wanted to attempt was the Duel mode, which is a mode where you get to face against multiple sets of aliens. It's kind of similar to the Duel mode in Golden Knights, for example. So yeah, there are 3 characters. You have the female, which was Carla, the robot is named Slammer, and the male in the red spandex is Gordon. So in this mode, you do face against fixed sets of aliens, so the first match will always be against these 2 aliens right here. And yeah, it's just a certain number of battles. I don't remember exactly how many battles it is, but I think this is a really good mode to start off with if this is your first time playing. For multiple reasons. Well, first off, this is really great if you want to learn how each alien works. Like these guys, for example, they move in like a 3D-ish, in a 360 manner. They don't move in 8 directions. And it also gives you practice to deal with multiple aliens at once. You can see me using the dash attack to keep them in like a 1v1 situation sorta. And then now we're facing 4 aliens, which is a bit more complicated, but look, I got all 3 of them right there, which is really good. So the Duel mode is great because not only do you get to learn how these aliens work, but you also get to practice your dash attack loops, practice trying to crowd control and all that stuff, which you will see in a bit because we haven't got to these guys over here, the goblins, as I like to call them. But yeah, that dive attack is really good against them because it hits them multiple times. So you see me use that here. I am holding forward so that does multiple hits because if you just press roll and attack, you would just stop in place. Whereas if you do the roll attack and hold forward, you actually go through them. Yeah, and already battle 9. I think this is the last battle. So you have 5 aliens, but again, the dash attack is really good. I should mention that it is a bit risky when there's like right there when there's multiple aliens moving fast because they can't just decide to go in the same lane and interrupt your attack. Or I should say interrupt your loop. I lost half my health pretty much in this fight. But it still went really well. I should be able to get this last one right here, and that is it. And you get a score based on, I think it's based on how fast you are and how much life you had left. So I think if you don't get hit at all, you get a perfect score, which should be coming up. And yeah, this is the ending for finishing the Duel mode, and I did really well, so it should be around 90. Yeah, 96 ruler. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I just wanted to show that off for a bit, and now coming up will be the long play, I should say the main mode. Now I should mention that I don't know if the difficulty affects Duel mode. Obviously it affects the arcade mode, but that was something I did forget to mention. But yeah, for the arcade mode, I am playing on the hardest difficulty. As mentioned before, hard mode, the difficulty affects how much health you have, which is lower the harder it is. The enemies have more health, and the life kits give less health in general. And the energy level simply affects how much energy you start with. It doesn't affect how much you gain or how much you use up. It just simply affects how much you start with. And if you have let's say you start with 1,000 energy or something, right? Obviously it doesn't show a number, but let's say you start with 1,000. If you use a continue and you have less than 1,000, you'll automatically recover up to that point. And if you have way more energy than the starting amount, then you will actually keep the excess energy that you have, which is really good. There are actually plenty of games out there that ruin that. It would just make you lose all of that excess energy you have or something. But this game actually got it right, which is, again, it's a small nitpick, but I wouldn't even call it a nitpick. I mean, it's a small compliment, but again, I really appreciate that kind of idea. Even though I didn't need it, obviously, because I didn't use any continues. So yeah, this is a rare shooting section. As you can see that I'm actually like shooting the terrain and the enemies to get as much energy as I can. Because there are going to be times where the camera doesn't scroll back anymore. Like, I immediately shot the stuff on the right side because I know that the camera won't scroll back to the right. So yeah, a little bit of memorization is very important here. Actually, wow, I actually got hit there. But yeah, knowing if the camera's ever gonna go back is important because that means you might as well just shoot that terrain out before like you miss out on potential items. But as usual, I am still using the dash attack loop, which is really good on Gordon, by the way. I don't think I mentioned the character. I definitely didn't mention the character differences in the intro, but pretty much the way it works is Gordon has the best dash attack because it has the best range. You can see him like swipe with his weapon. Carla is kinda garbage. I mean, she's not horrible. You can beat the game with her, it's whatever, but she doesn't really have the benefits that the other characters. Wow, that was really sick, by the way. You saw how I did that jump attack on the alien that was like on the wooden pole, whatever. But yeah, let me not get distracted. I should explain what's going on right now. So on this screen, all you have to do is defeat one of these guys, which is what I'm trying to do. And then scroll the screen to the right and you want to use your super because this screen is way too dangerous. Supposedly if you just defeat one of those aliens anyway, the rest will transform, but I prefer just using a super there, just keep it safe. Oh, there's so much to talk about, I'm so sorry. But yeah, this boss isn't too bad. I am doing this right here, just slightly moving back and attacking. I feel that this, whoa, how the heck did that happen? I feel like this is kind of risky because the boss will, I don't know what makes it do it or not. Like, I don't know exactly, but sometimes the boss will shoot a projectile from the front, and it's possible to hit the projectile with your attack, but sometimes you just won't, you just take a hit. So right there you saw that I was using jump attacks. Jump attacks are very good against that boss, so just stick to those. But always keep in mind that when you do use jump attacks that you know, look up for like the electric thunder that was shooting from the front and the back. You'll see that boss again later, so I'll probably talk about it more there. Damn, so much is going on, this game is fast. But yeah, this is the running sections. All you gotta do is keep shooting. The flying enemies are the most annoying to stay projectiles, and when you saw that long jump I did, you saw me shooting in advance. During that long jump, make sure you are already at the bottom of the screen before the jump, and then just keep shooting, because if not, then you won't be able to shoot the flying alien, and it'll most likely get a hit on you. It's hard to explain. Anyways, this part will start with these guys. You've seen them in the duel mode. You can actually, what's unique about these guys is that you can hit them while they're knocked down, since the animation is the same as them, like just being in hit stun. And yeah, you can tell from here that like I obviously know when the enemies are spawning and whatnot. I highly recommend you take your time with scrolling the screen to the right, because you can see there that I actually stopped scrolling the screen because I didn't want to face 4 aliens. And because I took my time, I only had to face 2 at a time, which is much doable compared to just facing like 4 of them at once. Again, I'm making really good use of that dash attack loop, just really good. One of my attempts for trying to beat this game, those aliens actually caught me by surprise, and something I shouldn't mention, but if I lose too much health in like the first 3 stages, I don't even bother, I just reset the game. Because again, health does not come back, so I just don't bother. Yeah, you can see me just trying to use a dash attack here. If you get overwhelmed, don't forget that like... Oh yeah, and I was trying to show that you can also do the roll attack while they're knocked down. Now immediately bottom left, just attack that alien. He always pops up there. It's a beginner's trap. And I'm always sticking to the bottom of the screen because I'm waiting for like the enemies with the swipes. I'm still hitting some of the terrain, but I do stop eventually because the humans, and then the bottom left and bottom right, they should be coming anytime now. I should stop shooting here. Maybe around here? Okay, not quite. But yeah, now I'm ready because I know that sooner or later they're gonna spawn on both sides. Yep, there it is. And yeah, that's the most dangerous part about these sections is, oh, by the way, the big alien doesn't really do anything. Always ignore them, but for that stage in particular, you do have to destroy that alien to advance. So yeah, with those shooting sections, always be careful with those claw swiping aliens. Like, if you're not already aiming at them, chances are you already got hit. So those are the most dangerous enemies in that section, by far, like without a question. Like, I'd rather deal with every other enemy except for them. Especially when both of them appear at once on the left and right side. Obviously, if you're playing with a friend, it would be much easier because, you know, one got the left side, one got the right side. But the problem with playing with a friend is, one, you gotta hope that both of you are just as good at the game. Like, you know, you gotta hope your friend is as good as you are. And two, when you play 2 players, the credits only say 2 and it's shared, so technically both players only have 2 lives. Well, I should say 1 life, like, to continue. So it is pretty scary to play this with a friend, unless, like, of course, both players are really good. So as usual, I'm still making use of the dash attack loop. Good time for me to mention, so yeah, Gordon has the best dash attack. That was really risky by me. Should have kept it a bit slow there, but it's all good. So yeah, Gordon has the best dash attack because of its range and its speed. Slimer the robot, he has the best basic attack range with like electric whip. And he has the easiest time, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in the intro, but he has the easiest time of performing the revive technique where if you use your special attack right when you hit 0 HP, you can actually like prevent death. You'll still be 1 hit away from like, you know, being dead, but it'll prevent you from just losing a credit, which is pretty cool. So you can see right here, I don't even bother with the big alien except for like when I had nothing else to shoot. You can shoot it if you want to, you really don't have to though. Yeah, I'm just waiting for those claw-swiping aliens to appear. There's one, there should be 1 more coming up soon. Or maybe even 2 more. And you can see that because I've been using a lot of dash attacks, I have a ton of energy. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to need all of it because this game gets really mean at the end, especially the last 2 stages. Oh my goodness. Gonna need all of that energy, let me tell ya. So thankfully, I went through this section really well. I'm surprised that I don't think I took any damage here. Anyways, mission 5, save the laboratory. Again, this game is pretty short. It's only about 8 levels. Again, they're really difficult levels, but once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. So you just deal with this one, and there should be 2 aliens coming up. Now, because of the lasers in the middle, I do have to deal with this in a very weird way. I have to, like, attack the alien on the right and then, like, run past it. Because the alien on the left can try to get you if you dash attack loop immediately. And this screen, I don't even mess around. I just use my AoE because 5 aliens on one screen is way too dangerous. I'm also not a huge fan of this screen either. I even got hit there too. I think right there I should have used energy maybe, but I think I felt uncomfortable because like there was 2 on the left and 1 on the right, and there's also the lasers right there. Again, same situation, just like you kind of gotta like, I can't really explain this part. You can also just attack left and right, like just focus on both sides, which is just as useful. And yeah, another rail shooting section. So as usual, there will be humans around, so look out for them. They will never appear on the bottom, but I'm pretty sure I shoot one by accident at one point. I don't know if it's this level or not, but anyways, there's a med pack. And oh, okay, I gotta talk about that in a bit, but I'm gonna wait because there's, oh my goodness, like there's one screwed up glitch about this game that I really hate, and oh my goodness, dude, it's so stupid. So you might have seen that some of the aliens, they don't always claw swipe. You saw that 2 of them like spit like goo out, right? It could, I don't think it's a glitch. Maybe it's just like not enough room on the screen, I guess. But sometimes 2 of them will pop up to spit, but you only see 1 of the spit balls, and the other one's invisible. Like, I'm not joking. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Someone can correct me on that. It's fine. But I swear, 1 of them is invisible because I'll shoot the one that's visible and I'll still get hit. It's a very mean, like, I can't explain it with words. I'm pretty sure it happened in this run. I just don't know when. Anyways, this screen looks really dangerous. I really should be using a, super here, but I guess I was feeling really. The thing is, I'm scared of the later screens in this game, especially the last 2 levels, so I was being really stingy with my energy consumption. Like I just really didn't want to use my super to use up my energy because I know I'm gonna need as much as possible for the end of the game. I don't recommend doing that, especially since, like, again, this is a no miss run, so if you're just playing through this game and you don't care about like using credits or whatever, like there's nothing wrong with just clearing the screen of the enemies. But again, only do so if it's very overwhelming. Don't do it against like 1 or 2 enemies, like preferably 4 or more, right? And you can see here that I'm using the left and right thing I mentioned earlier, where you don't have to keep using dash attacks. You can just like attack left and attack right. Excuse me. And yeah, if you attack left and right, you can just like crowd control that way, which is pretty good. So yeah, we're facing this boss again, and this is where I want to mention that like jump attacks are really good, but be careful of like the green electricity that alternates between the back and the front. I think I got hit there because I was trying to jump. I ended up getting a roll instead. That's why I was very surprised when I first fought this boss and I rolled attacked right through him. I'm like, wait, what? Maybe it was because I was slightly off axis. I have no idea. But yeah, jump attacks are really good. They do a good amount of damage and it lets you get to the other side safely. So once you get used to performing those, this boss fight is really easy. Now, once you defeat that boss, it'll turn into this monstrosity, and as Slammer, the robot, it's really easy to defeat this boss because Slammer has so much range that you can hit it much further than... Like, you can see with Gordon, it's kind of like close. Like, I'm just barely out of range of the explosion shots when I try to attack it. But with Slammer can attack it just slightly further away, which is really good because it makes it really hard for the boss to even land any hits. So... yeah, I do think Slammer is the best for this boss fight, but it's still doable. It's all about like keeping your range, and once you get cornered, you want to go to the bottom or the top and then just roll out the way, and then just keep attacking it. Again, the important part about this battle is that you attack it at the furthest range possible. If you get too close, you'll most likely get hit by the explosion, so that's why you see me miss sometimes from trying to attack it too far away, but I'd rather miss than be too close and potentially get hit by the explosion. So this run looks freaking amazing so far. I got so much energy, I got so much life. Surely it doesn't go downhill, right? Well, we'll see, right? We'll see. Anyways, another running section. 2 of the flying enemies will appear. I think right here, there'll be 2 of them, so I try to take them out as quickly as I can because of that jumping section. If they're still around during that jump, you'll most likely get hit. And yeah, after that will be another quote-unquote boss battle. This one's pretty easy. All I do is stay at the bottom, and when you see one of those like rolling needles come your way, you just gotta get ready to jump over it, which isn't too bad. And then from here you just stay on the bottom and then like play this game of peekaboo, where you can sometimes go to the middle to shoot the boss. And you see me going down because the parts that fall off the boss can actually hit you. So, you know, shoot the boss, but be careful of the parts that break off of it because they can land a hit if you're still in the middle. And yeah, as long as you keep an eye on the spikes at the bottom and jump over them accordingly, you can get through this no problem. Now, these last 2 stages are the hardest stages in the game. I cannot stress that enough. Oh my goodness. Anyways, it's gonna start with 3 snails. Just, you can dash attack them, no problem, as long as you're fast enough. That's pretty easy. There's gonna be 4 enemies here. I really should, maybe I should use a super. I don't know why I haven't. This is really, really risky. Yep, I lost, oh my goodness, look how much life I'm losing. I probably should have just used my energy here. I got really cocky there. Now, I do know that 4 enemies is gonna pop up at the top, so I immediately get ready to attack them. Oh no, it's 5 enemies here. So this is where I want to use my super. Yep. And oh, I'll talk about that glitch in a second. Alright, anyways, 4 enemies appear right here, and that's when I immediately basic attack them. There we go. I don't know how he got me, but it is what it is. I think I like mistimed like the attack, but it's whatever. Now you see me slightly moving forward, and the reason why I'm doing this is because, oh jeez. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm scared to aggro the snails on the right. Like, I'd rather just face these 2 like by themselves instead of facing those 2 and a snail. So I'm slowly moving the screen forward to only make one of them spawn like 1 at a time. I want to keep this as easy as possible. I really don't want to face multiple enemies at once. So this is definitely a stage where scrolling the screen slowly helps a ton. So yeah, those guys popped up. I'm gonna be real, they jump scared me. Like, I actually forgot about them at the time of this run. I even got hit there. So like, if I was aware of them, I would just did like a basic attack to the left and to the right, but I just got nervous and I used my super, so it's fine. Thankfully, I had plenty of energy to spare, so I'm not too worried. And again, I'm moving the screen slowly because I know if I go further, like 3 enemies will spawn, so I want to deal with the snail first before they spawn in. There we go. there are 3 enemies. And from here, just want to use dash attacks because doing this loop against 3 enemies isn't too bad. When it's 4 or more, that's when it gets crazy. Now, I'm going to be real. If you got the guts to deal with all of those enemies, good on you. I don't. So I went straight to the next section by going inside that door. Anyways, I got really lucky here. I actually did get a health pack, which, again, doesn't happen often. I'm pretty sure I'll lose it immediately, like, later. I don't know. But, yeah, there is some luck involved in a sense because sometimes you might get health packs to drop, sometimes you might not get them to... Yeah, I got hit right there. There it was. So yeah, sometimes you might get them to drop, sometimes you might not get them to drop while playing. It depends. But yeah, I was getting a decent amount of health during this long play in general, which is really good. Which didn't matter too much because I didn't really start taking a lot of damage into this stage right here. Okay, you saw him pop up and like had his mouth open. I'm pretty sure he shot the invisible goo, and if you notice the reticle, I was actually panicking, like trying to shoot wherever it was, and I think I did. I don't know. Anyways, this is the final battle, and it is a maze, but thankfully I already know where to go, and I will guide you through this. So before this maze begins, you will have to fight an onslaught of these guys. I think it's about 3 or 4 sets of them, like 3 each, and then the final set is like 4 of them. And I think when it gets to that set, I usually use a super. I don't remember if that happened or not. Should mention that I did this long play about... I'm pretty sure I did the long play when I made that post, so it was about a few days ago. Just gotta wait. Okay, it's still 3 more. And let's see, aiming pay now. Anything else I need to mention actually before we go into the maze? I'm trying to remember, because oh man, like I should say the music in this game is freaking great. I love it so much. It's not amazing, but I love the music so much in this game. Wow, holy crap, that's not that crowd clear. Okay, now I can see why I didn't use my energy. I actually got all 3 of them. That was really good. So yeah, you can't use down attacks to do this. Anyways, I am going to take the right because for 2 reasons. One, I know how to deal with these enemies. Now, before I talk about that, I do want to talk about the paths you can take. Now, I think the quickest way, if I'm not mistaken, is you keep going left in the caves and then it leads to the final boss. But I prefer taking this way because 1, I know how to deal with them, and 2, by taking this path, the right path, you can eventually get some health, which you will see later. Now, how do you deal with these goblins? Well, you can see it right here. The roll attack is incredibly useful for this entire final stage, really. I forgot about those guys during the long play. Like, jeez, look how fast they're moving. Anyways, right here you can tell that I was really reluctant to like use like 2 supers on them, but I just did it anyways. Anyway, so we went right, and now all we gotta do is keep going through the middle. That's all we gotta do from here on out. So when you start this stage, take the right path and then just keep taking the middle path, and you will eventually come to the final boss. And the reason why I keep taking the middle path is because for me personally, these guys are easy to deal with. I did struggle with dealing with them in this long play in particular, but you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to one corner, going up, roll attack, going the other side, going back down again, roll attack, up, roll attack, down, roll attack, and I actually got hit there. But as long as you keep the pattern consistent, these fights are pretty manageable. They're not easy because you have to time your roll attack so that at least one of them's in the same lane. Like you see right here, I wait a bit, and then I do it, like right there. So it is a bit risky, but again, the roll attack does a lot of damage. I do think it's a safer way to deal with them. And from this point on, I was actually panicking because my life is really low. These guys deal a lot of damage. There's 6 of them here, so I said screw it, maybe just do the AoE. I messed up there. I was supposed to do the roll attack to defeat all of them at once, but I ended up getting the jump attack because I was running. That's how you can tell I'm just like losing my cool, but I'm pretty sure I do eventually get through this. I wouldn't freaking compensate over a dead run. But yeah, this is the interesting part of the level, is that these plants, they can hit you, yes, but as long as you go all the way to the bottom, then all the way to the top, they won't. So just remember that. That's the most important part. And the most interesting part about these plants is that they actually drop health packs, which you will see in a bit. I did get lucky here because he died on when I went to the left, so I don't have to scroll the camera yet. I just want to barely hit that plant, then I'm going to wait for the enemy to come here. Because if I scroll the screen, they immediately spawn. So I wanted to do that first before, you know, before trying to get the health back. That's what would be safer. So that was very risky by me. I just walked to it. I should have just took my time, but I was kind of scared if because I don't remember if items actually disappear, like in these sections and the beat 'em up sections. So I just wanted to get it just in case, so I don't start panicking if it actually does go away. And I said, yeah, like just screw it, right? Now I actually do have room to do one more super. I was very reluctant to do it because I wasn't sure how many again, I was panicking. I'm not ashamed to admit that, but like I was losing my cool. I know that the next room coming up will be the boss battle, the final boss. But I didn't know if this was the last set of goblins or not, so I was just sticking to the roll attack and hoping for the best. Thankfully, it went really well. And I should mention that, like, if you do a roll attack and you know that you're about to get hit by, like, one of their projectiles or something, you can use a special to negate it, and of course hit them at the same time, so... The special is really useful because it hits all the enemies and it can stop any projectiles on screen. But I did get through it, thank goodness. Yeah, that section's really scary, and now we're at the final boss. And yeah, I actually did stand still here because I definitely remember that I just had to like calm down and like just keep my shit together. Like I was really losing it there. There was the invisible projectile again. I know dang well I was invisible. Like there's no way I'm hallucinating. Anyways, got really lucky there. It was actually a med pack, and of course the claw dude took it away from me. But it's fine. This final boss is weird. So it's a big brain in the middle. All you have to do to defeat it is destroy all the enemies. That's it. That's all you have to do. Now, I did test this before. You can actually defeat the brain by shooting it constantly. It has a ton of freaking health. But defeating the enemies is actually faster. And yeah, that's it. That's Alien Storm. And now for the ending. The ambition of the aliens to invade planet Earth has been foiled. Peace is restored. But what has become of the tremendous tree? Did they survive? Nobody knows, and there is no way to find out. But if any aggression is made to our planet again, they are the ones who will fight back. Until then, their names shall be engraved on our minds. Alien Busters. Oh man, what a game. I don't know why I'm smiling so much. I love this game so much. And now for one of the best credit sequences ever. And yeah, that was Alien Storm for the Sega Genesis. I can't believe it. I played what is generally considered to be a good game because man, I've done guides on so much junk and all that. It just feels really good to play something just really fucking good, alright? It's not amazing. I wouldn't call it one of the best beat 'em ups, like I said previously, but I do love this game. I think it's great. It's a pretty fun beat 'em up. I guess my only issue with it is, like, I guess playing it with friends. Like, in that case, I'd probably put it on easy mode, because the game is pretty ruthless, like, unless, like, both players know what they're doing. But it's still a pretty fun game. I still need to, like, I never actually tried to, like, sit down and play the arcade version. I never played through the entire thing, so I have to try that out someday to see the differences. But yeah, overall, solid game. I feel like I was talking really fast. I don't even know if I even talked about everything that I wanted to mention in this long play, but again, that's because the game is relatively short, and there's really not a whole lot to explain in the first place, so just know about the dash attack loops, I should say the running attack loops, know how to deal with the aliens, and yeah, just know how to, like, just some good memorization on the side, and you can get through this. As for getting through it without losing a life, that's another story. That'll take plenty of time at least. And our final score is 85, which is pretty solid. It's probably because, like, kind of like that, like, mission 7 at the end, but I didn't even bother with, like, the remaining aliens. I just went straight into the door. And I did lose plenty of life throughout this long play. But yeah, I enjoyed this game a lot. I had a lot of fun just watching my long play. I had a lot of fun. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed my guide and long play on Alien Storm. I really enjoyed playing this. I really need to play more good games often. Like, oh man, dude, I don't know what to say, but it really, I'm just getting sensitive because like this is a game I grew up with. I wouldn't say I grew up with it, but like, you know, one of my cousins had it, but I never got to play it. But then when it came on the Ultimate Collection, I really started to appreciate it, and now that I've finally gotten good enough that I can finish it on one life, like without using a continue, it felt really good, and I'm glad. I'm very glad I gave this game the time that it deserves. But yeah, again, thanks a bunch for watching. I hope you enjoyed this long play, and with that said, I'll see you later.